Hey, welcome back to Papa's Custom Cars. My name's Craig. For those of you new to the channel, we do mostly auto repairs. Lately, it's been a whole lot of auction purchases and home repairs, fixing the granddaughter's car, all that kind of fun stuff. So it's not always about the cars. Sometimes there are things in the house that have to be fixed, and I'm the guy that's got to fix them. So today we have another auction purchase. Bought this at the auction, paid a very low price for it, mainly because I knew it was damaged. The pump has issues and a couple other things. So we're going to unbox it. We're going to see what's wrong with it. We're going to see if we can fix it, and then we're going to sell it. So I have one. I don't need another one, but this is a really nice 20-gallon unit, and I got a good price on it. So to see if I could repair it, it's the best thing to do. So let's cut it open and see what we got, shall we? Okay, so got the old razor knife out, and we are opening up our box to see what we got. Hey, those of you who aren't new to the channel, let me know what you think of the new introduction. It's kind of a shorter one. I figured, you know what I'm seeing out there, they really don't need it. It really doesn't need to be that long. So, but my understanding on this was there's a few missing parts, some bolts and such, and there's a dent right here in the corner of it. But let me go ahead and get this box off of here so we can show you guys what we got. So like I said, we've got, doesn't feel very smooth, feels kind of like it was scraped or slid on its top. Doesn't want to open, probably because of the damage, I'm sure. But unfortunately, we need to get in there. So let me get this spun around for you so you can kind of see what I got, what I'm working with here. So it has all of the fun stuff that we normally see. So got our instruction manual, got our hose. For the most part, the major parts are here. This is where we have an issue. Is if we look at the pump, we can see the end is broken off. So a couple of options we have. We can drill and tap this maybe, or we can JB weld it. So we're going to go ahead and pull this part apart and kind of see what we can do. So let me move some things around. The rest of this is the unit itself, the inside tray, the feeder down in here, got our 4 legs, our little tray stuff, and then as you'll see, we've got some bent items, so we're going to have to straighten out a bunch of stuff. But like I said, when I'm all done repairing this, we'll be able to sell it to someone who needs a parts washer and doesn't want to pay full price for it. These things are really, really pricey, these big red units, because it is a 20-gallon. Now, one of the most expensive parts about these is the pump. So that's why somebody probably said, you know what, I'm not going to go ahead and bid on this thing at all. But like I said, I'll be able to sell this thing for $50, $75. It's a really nice unit once I get that pump working. Worst case scenario, I don't get the pump working, but I can at least sell it the way it is, have them show them where to find a pump. So definitely a good one. This looks like it has been put together because screws are loose and everything's just kind of hanging out there. The bottom of this is also dented, so this thing really went through a rough time. Most of it looks like the damage was probably done by the person who was putting it together. Let's close it. Let's flip it on its side. And that'll allow us to get the feet on it. I'm using the cardboard because I don't want to scratch it any worse than it already is. we have enough for the top legs. Let's build what we have, and we can always come back. Yeah, we can always come back and get what we need. So let's grab one set of screws. So that's not too bad. We need 10 nuts, 8 bolts, 13 lock washers, and that'll get us enough bolts to put it all back together again. Like I said, we are going to take care of the dents and all that kind of stuff, but for now, let's just get this thing put together. Next, let's take a look-see at the pump, because that is an issue. So this is the deal with the pump. See, this end is broken off of here. This does look like it's a fitting of some sort. So we can go ahead and pull this apart, see if we can't get to this and see how bad this is. We'll also remove this, but I need to get this cord out. And unfortunately, it's all part and parcel to the same thing. So this all sits on the outside. Actually, this is a submerged pump. So this actually belongs in here farther. So clearly someone was pulling on it, and that's what caused everything to go kind of wonky. So for now, we can pull this aside, get the electrical cord out of there, so we can see what we're working with here. Yeah, let's get that back in there where it belongs. So first off, let's see if we can get these screws off of here without needing a tool of any kind. So there are 2 screws holding this in. It has an O-ring. Yeah, see how it came apart here? And if you look, it is a threaded fitting. So we can save it. So let me get a wrench and see if we can't pull that apart. These 2 together make up the draw. But before we go any further, let's turn this on and see, make sure it's working. So let's put that back in there so we have it. So we're going to take that and that over to the hardware store and see if we can get that too. But let's check and make sure we've got power here. Hate to do all this and find out the pump is bad. So we have a switch here on the side of the pump. And the pump is working. So we're good there. So let's get this part off of here and see if we can't get those 2 and make it work. Oh, it's not even tight. So we've got an O-ring on this, just a basic fitting, so we could probably use plumber's dope on that. The issue is we're using solvents in here, so we definitely want to use some type of a permanent fix. Looks like we could JB weld it on, but we're not going to get a real good strong seal. So worst case is JB weld this together. We have to remember to put in our O-ring before we put it all back together again. So we've got our list. We know what we need for nuts and bolts. This being a 2-piece unit and being threaded means we can get this at a hardware store. Worst case scenario, JB weld, and that'll fix that. How permanent it would be, I'm not really sure. But I think we can definitely save this. There's no doubt about it. So let's take a trip to the hardware store, see what we can find, get all of our extra screws and everything we need to finish putting this thing together. And we can get this thing put together, fixed, and sold. So let's get to the hardware store. So here's the good news on this pump. drag it on up here. These fittings on it are pipe thread, standard pipe thread. So the trip over to the hardware store netted. Hold on, let me grab all my parts out of here. Here's the 1/2-inch side that goes into the pump. And I think the other side is in my pocket. Nope, right here. So it basically is put together like so. Just like that. And it's pipe thread on both sides. Now the only difference is this has got a little O-ring in it, probably because it's a fluid. So what I came up with was this. So the only thing I need to do is go ahead and screw that all the way into here. That'll take it to right there. So that'll make this work. So about $14 worth of parts got this fixed, we think. We're going to find out here as we go. So we want to definitely put these two together first, and then we'll go from there. There doesn't appear to be any seal between this one and this. There's no O-ring or anything. It's just the seal itself. So the trick is going to be getting that in there. Okay, so it's a little bit longer. It's doesn't want to go all the way in, but I think we're going to be okay anyway. So that's the length of that. That's the length of that. But as you can see, she'll sit down a little farther. So I think we're going to be okay. Now, the only other thing I want to do is pull this O-ring off of here and put it on here and hope that it works. Okay. So we've got an O-ring on this side. Don't crank it, just watch for that O-ring to just squish a little bit and you should be good. Right there, like so. So the second part is this. It just screws onto this side. And the threads on this, we did notice that when we were putting it together at the hardware store, the threads on this are a little bit galled up. So. Actually, it slides on. Oh, look at that. So it slides in place. Once it's in place, you put this back on, and voila, it's there permanent. And pretty snazzy. Looks like we found a solution to everything, huh? Last but not least, we put this in place. So this goes just like so, and that screws into place down there. That's our entire unit. Now you'll notice that this O-ring is kind of offset there a little bit. I do believe this O-ring goes over here maybe, because that's where it was when I initially did everything. But you never know. We should be, like I said, we should be okay. I don't see any issues with it. Let's put it that way. So there we go. And then your hose hooks onto this end and it's all set. Nice and tight. Everything's all in there the way it should be. And voila. You have a pump. Okay, let's get back to building this thing, shall we? So I picked up a whole bunch more screws, washers, everything we need to finish it up. So let's finish putting our legs together. Then we can move on to the shelf and everything else. This was definitely damaged after it was dropped off because bolts were put in. Okay, now let's flip her over, get her up on her feet. Okay, as I was saying, there's some damage here on this corner. We can straighten that out here in a minute. Looks like somebody already worked this corner. Okay, inside the pump, yeah, we do have to put on the little housing that goes on it, so we need to pull that free. It has this little housing that goes on there. Thinking just like so, it just clips on, just like so. And then that snaps back onto our housing itself. It makes it so that everything is hunky-dory. And it popped off. Of course it did. So let me pop her back on. Voila. So there it is there. This mounts right to here. Now, first feed our cord through, then this goes in, hangs right on there like so. Then you just tighten your screws down. Didn't even need to take them loose. Well, you got to take them loose to hang it. And you tighten it, and it's on. So then, gets this unit. This is where you want to put a filter of some kind right in here so that it filters out the stuff. The little thin one they give you for these, it's no good. Get yourself a good one. This just pops right on like so. And there's another little filter. There's a filter unit that goes in here. It doesn't have it, so assuming somebody threw it away because they didn't know what it was. And then last but not least, last thing, then let me go grab a wrench, tighten that up. And again, remember these are plastics, so don't go crazy on them. Then that goes there. And the last piece of the puzzle is the tray. And you see it's a little bit tweaked too, but that's okay. She just sits in like that. And voila, we have one parts washer complete. So again, we ran the pump. We know the pump's good. Plug it in. If you actually you can actually test it with water or what have you. But just flick the button and you can hear it running. Feel a little bit of pressure, but that's it. That's the gist of it. And we have one parts washer that's ready to sell to general public for their project. So that's pretty much what we had to do to fix it. So now you know if you have one and you break all that little plastic stuff in there, you can replace it with just regular pipe thread stuff. Takes care of it for you. It's your discharge, so it's not like it's an issue. I do suggest if you're going to buy one, search through YouTube, find yourself some of those videos that show you how to build a filtration system. They really need one. I know mine is just nasty in there because it just seems to recycle the garbage that's in there. There is a little bitty filter thing in there, but it's not really worth much. Anyway, any questions, comments, concerns, send me an email, send me a text message, or just put a comment in if you build one of these. They do have very low ratings because none of the screws they say line up. And yeah, that's true. They don't. But basically, it's inexpensive. These are about $140 new. This one is going for $100 plus you get 5 gallons of cleaner that I also bought that I've already full. I already have 20 gallons, so I don't need it anymore. But there you go. It'll be on Marketplace if you want it. With that, like, share, subscribe. See you in the next video.